Oh yeah, we're live. Yeah, we're live. So welcome everyone to a very special MapperCast podcast, episode 52. We have here we can call it the father of mapping, creator of mapping, the very first mapper here with us today, MervueMeringue. Welcome.
Hello.
So as always, the description is messed up for some reason. I have to fix that, but I'm trying to. But for some reason, it's not detecting it. But regardless, the list of topics should be in the description below, along with the channels of the participants today. And I hope you enjoy. So yeah, and as you guys know, we have to go through the topics, but the topics today will be a little bit different. Today we're going to start with an interview with the very first mapper, MervueMeringue, and then we're going to go to the free for all Q&A with Mervue, where you guys basically ask questions for MervueMeringue. Hopefully, fan requests we don't have, unfortunately. If the fan request does show up in the podcast later, he can suggest us that. We'll probably leave it free for all, but until then, we're just gonna leave it out. And then next, we're gonna pull a wildcard topic out of a hat, and then we're doing the mapper winner, Whoopie Dudes, Altered Future of United States Season 1 Remastered, and then we'll be discussing the Northern Macedonia name. I know we're a little bit late on that, but we can still discuss it. And then we'll be discussing Israel declaring itself a nation state for Jews only, and then we'll be discussing Brexit, which 2 years ago, and then we go for the real free for all, and then the quiz is like my Bruno fan winner, and then we say goodbye as always. So as you guys know, I am here with Void Viper, and I welcome MervueMeringue to the podcast.
Hey everybody, Cosmic here. We're here, 52nd show. It's been a long time coming. We got the creator of mapping here with us. Let's have a great podcast. Let's get right into it.
Veteran.
Veteran, I swear to God.
No, my mic was muted. Anyways,
Okay.
hello, it's me, 99 Veteran. I'm here. It's yeah, let's get this podcast going.
Hey everybody, it's Mindria here.
Hello there, I'm the Alp Mapping, and let's have a good show.
Hey everyone, Alp Mapper is here, and let's have a great show.
Hello, I am Mervue, or Matthew, and yeah, good to be here.
Alright, so as always, the very first thing, I already closed the doc by accident, is that we'll be interviewing MervueMeringue. We have a list of questions for MervueMeringue, and we're just going to start a little bit light. So MervueMeringue, would you be kind enough to tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are, so that our audience knows who you are, because a lot of us don't know who you are. Well, not us, but like the audience that's watching.
Okay, yeah, so I am, well, I'm currently a student at the University of Edinburgh studying history, which I guess makes sense based on the maps. Yeah, and as most of you know, I appear to have started the mapping kind of format that you guys have all taken on. I like cats, as you can see from my picture. Yeah, I don't know how if there are any other details.
Crucial detail.
And yeah, I'm from Scotland, where we're having an unusual amount of sun at the moment. Yeah, I don't know. These open-ended questions are always very hard, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, it's a start. Like, I mean, who will be excited, right? Everyone's gonna be excited. Well, most of us. So yeah. I guess. Well, thanks for telling us about yourself. So let's start off with something a little bit lighter. So how has life been treating you?
It's been good, yeah. Right now, I'm working on a dissertation at the moment, so I guess that's a little bit less exciting. You know, not the best way to spend a summer. And it's kind of cruel putting a deadline at the end of August, because that's really what I've been working on. But it's good. Like I said, it's sunny. I can't complain.
Isaac, would you like to ask Mervue a question?
Yeah, sure. So let's get into the mapping stuff. So
Okay.
take a trip back to 2008 or whenever that was. But what was it that
Not long ago.
Yeah. So what was it that made you want to make the first mapping video? What planted that inspiration in your head?
Yeah, so the first one was that really amateur World War I and II one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was, oh, how old was I even then? I guess I was 12 or 13. Yeah, I think it was because I'd been learning about the First World War at school. And because it's, you know, you have all these countries involved and all these actors, I wanted to visualize it. So I began, like I downloaded some map off the internet, and I sort of just colored it in to kind of get all the countries there, so I could visualize it, and then I kind of so I could track this, and this is just for my own kind of like personal benefit. So I could track how the war went. I then sort of colored in, like the changes to the war and the moving front lines, and then because I think I'd been doing some videos at this point. But not map animations. I realized I could probably animate this and then maybe upload it. So it was just something I did really off the cuff quite quickly, in a very amateurish way, which I think is why I ended up having Israel with like crossed out and then put Japan there. So I was like, yeah, sure, it's roughly the same shape. And then so I had, and then I was able to I quite enjoyed being able to just watch the war move in that way, and you could see the changes. But I think in that video, was that the one where I introduced? I can't remember now. Where I introduced the because I think that was maybe something I threw in just because I thought maybe I'll make it a bit lighter, a bit more entertaining if I'm going to upload it. But it wasn't an idea I put a lot of thought into. It's just I was like, oh yeah,
off the cuff thing you threw it out there. So
yeah.
So you kind of use it as a way, as like an education tool to help learn the war.
Yeah, for myself, yeah. I wouldn't have kind of dreamed of anyone else using it because there was very little research that went into it.
That's interesting. So Mervue started like Mervue kind of like started video mapping too, if you want to count that.
Wait, didn't Emperor Tigerstar start even earlier?
Did he?
Yeah, what year did he start?
I think it's 29.
2008.
Huh. Maybe he beat out Mervue by like a couple months.
Because his videos are definitely a different genre to the ones I was doing. His were a lot more educational and, I would say probably more high quality than the ones I made.
Yeah, you can't really you can't directly compare video mapping with this mapping.
Oh, you mean a Tiger Star?
Yeah, Tiger.
Yeah.
Okay, then 2007.
2007.
Okay.
Wait, what?
I think it's
That's a while.
Wow.
It's oldest video that's still available from 2009.
Interesting.
All right,
Maybe
so Batman, do you want to ask a question now?
I'll ask the next one.
Huh? What?
I'll ask the next one.
He's got food in his mouth.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm eating during the podcast, so sorry about that.
Does anyone else want to?
It's my lunchtime.
Here, I'll do it.
No,
now.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I gotta ask, like, how do you feel about the growth of mapping? Because it's a crazy thing. From what you're saying, it was just like this dumb little one-off thing you just threw out there, and it kind of has blossomed into this really, not to the size of something like vlogging, but a massive little niche corner of YouTube that has gone on to have hundreds of thousands of videos that would hit over 1 million views. So I got to ask you, like, how do you think about that?
Yeah, it's as I'm sure you're aware, it's something I've not really been involved in. I've kind of just watched from a distance when I stopped making the map videos. And I think at first I was a bit bemused that people were actually taking on my style, because I was kind of like, really, they'd want to do that. And I think at first I was kind of thinking, wait, no, that's my style. Why are other people stealing it? But then I realized quite quickly that it was a style that people really seem to have taken to and enjoyed making themselves. And yeah, I mean, it was kind of mixed feelings. And then, but I began to think, this is pretty awesome if I've inspired people to do this, and especially when I realized the community that you'd constructed around it, even though it was something that I kind of left behind, so I didn't feel it, particularly need to kind of join in with. I still thought that was quite cool that I was kind of the creator of this in an indirect way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
cool.
Well,
I mean, it really is great. I gotta say, like, mapping and doing this stuff, just to get stupid and personal for a minute, it's kind of defined a lot of what I've done in the last like 2 to 3 years of my life. And
Really?
MapperCast, yeah, it really has. It's been a lot of my, I'd say at least a good like 60% of my mental energy goes towards planning out my videos, and it's become a long thing. My family and friends, they know me as the mapping guy, and I'm sure it's like that for a lot of other mappers out there. So it's become this huge thing that has really become instrumental in a lot of different people's lives. So I think just on behalf of everyone, I'd like to thank you for all this stuff you've supplied.
Yeah, we should really thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I suppose it's an interesting sort of idea. Like, if I'd never made those original videos, would would there have been this space that would have been filled by something else? Maybe it would have looked a bit different, or do you think?
Yeah, one of our questions was.
Yeah, that's actually one of the questions.
Yeah, we like when you. The question was when you made your video in 2000. Oh, never mind. That's the wrong one. I think we wrote it somewhere. It's like, did you expect anyone to?
Yeah, if you didn't, yeah, they're down there. If you didn't
It's
make
down
the
at the
first
bottom.
video, yeah. Do you
the
think
question
someone
was-
else would have jumped in and created the same type of videos as you did?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea, to be honest. I mean, there would have still been the creation of like we said, Emperor Tiger Star, those kind of more educational style. Like I didn't have any input into that, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. I think you guys are probably more capable of answering that than I am.
Well, yeah, I do think there might have been something, because there might have been some people who were inspired from the Tiger Star stuff, and maybe we would have seen more like that original mapping video, like the sort of simulation thing. But I think in terms of, you know, the alternate future and alternate history and countries turning white when they talk and the whole dialogue has changed, I don't think that ever would have happened if it wasn't for your original History of Europe series. So, yeah. That's my stance.
That's
In my opinion,
Yeah.
I think it will.
You do?
Yeah, but maybe it's not white. Maybe it's like something else, like something very similar. But like the concept is the concept's the same, but then like the style is a little different.
I think eventually someone would, from the Emperor Tiger Star videos, maybe, first it would have been like simulations, and maybe someone could have done something similar.
Did you okay, MervueMeringue, did you expect when you made your video in 2008 and 2010? Did you expect anyone to actually follow what you did?
No, not at all. Especially because all the other videos I'd made, it had like 20, 30 views. And then I was like, oh, you know, I'll just do this. And then, I mean, I don't know. I don't think, maybe I'm wrong or it's changed since. I don't think the first video I made had that much of a reception. Like, it was sort of, I guess, what I might have expected. Just a few people searching history stuff might have stumbled across it. But it was the 7-part series, originally the 7-part series I made, that was, the response to that was way beyond anything I would have expected, you know, in terms of the view figures going up into the tens of thousands, and I think eventually the hundreds of thousands, and the streams of comments I got. And then the fact that after a while, if you search History of Europe, in fact, I think it might still be the case if you search History of Europe into YouTube, that's one of the first results.
I don't think so.
I
Trying
do.
it now. Yes, it is. It's like the 7th result.
Yeah.
Which is kind of odd because, as we'll maybe get into, you know, they're still. I did put a bit more research into those ones, but they're still not the most accurate source. They were still something I did quite quickly and was meant to be more entertaining. So I'm not sure if it's a good thing that that's coming up when you search it into YouTube. But,
No, when I search it up, it's showing like video mappers now. I think the video
Yeah,
mappers.
Mervue's area is below what happened on Earth to the old Europeans. That is interesting, though, to like have something that you created show up when you search something as like grand and broad as history of Europe, and then there's this video you made. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yes,
it's a
I definitely
At the
and
top.
I'm seeing now is 166,000 views. That first one, which that is like I definitely have never expected more than about 1,000 people at most to watch that.
There's some
Anyways,
mapping videos that
should we
reach a
give
million
someone else a
views.
chance to ask questions?
Yeah. Rad, I don't think you've done one yet.
Yeah. So are you like still working on creative projects in general, like something like in the direction of art or music, or have you mostly moved on from that?
Do you mean if I moved on from the mapping?
No, just creative stuff in general, like art thingy.
Right.
Something in that direction.
Yeah, for the most part, probably just because of being at university, my energies have gone into my studies now and into more academic writing. Like in the back of my mind, well, in the very back of my mind, there are still more mapping videos I'd like to make, maybe more on the sort of educational side rather than the entertaining side. But it's also in terms of being creative. Like I used to write stories, short stories, or write poetry and stuff, or you know, making films, and that's all kind of gone at the moment.
Those classic MervueMeringue short films.
Yeah.
We don't miss those. We want more of those.
Oh, right. Does anyone actually watch those?
Yeah, we all do.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, man. Okay. Alp, are you here? I think. Alp.
Yeah, I am here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. How about you ask one?
No, no, sorry.
You don't want? Oh, okay.
Okay,
All right,
mine.
Yeah, Mindria.
I haven't asked anything either.
Oh, Batran. Yeah, Doi. Batran, how about you?
Oh yeah. Okay.
All right, so okay, here's an elaborate question right here. If you had the choice to start uploading mapping videos, like, would you be excited?
Sorry, say that again. I didn't catch all that.
Let's see. If you had the choice to start uploading mapping videos again, like, would you be excited? This is like an elaborate question.
Would I be excited to start uploading them again?
Yeah, like if you, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's not. I didn't really stop because I didn't want to do them anymore, or at least I think I probably would have stopped doing the kind of the format, with the talking countries. But I would have liked to have continued doing some more of the kind of educational style ones, like the ideologies of Europe one. I think was the last one I uploaded. But then it was just kind of lack of time, and then not. So yeah, I would definitely be excited to do one again.
Nice.
So you're talking about video mapping.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not the differentiation you guys make.
Let's say you upload a mapping video. What kind of reaction do you expect from that? Like from this whole years and years after, if you upload a mapping video.
Okay, apologize.
Sorry, I
Everybody
think
had to go grab
my
some-
internet isn't being great all the time. Can you say that again?
All right, let's say you upload a mapping video again. What kind of reaction do you expect from that?
Interesting. Yeah, because I mean, at first I was just kind of throwing them out into the void and wondering if anyone would see them. But now, because I seem to have developed this reputation as being the first creator, I mean, I suppose people would be interested. I guess because of that, people would be interested in it. I mean, maybe they wouldn't, but I kind of expect them to be because of that image people have of me. I don't know if it would be particularly good compared to the things that people are making now. So maybe people would see that and be like, "Oh, this Mervue guy isn't actually that great."
Oh.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know you were the first ever map. I don't think a lot of people know.
Because mapping has grown. When mapping was for a while, up until I'd say around late 2015, mainly centralized around the mapping wiki. And there goes Alp, yeah. But it's kind of grown out into a larger community with like Discords and Google Plus Hangouts and yada yada. But back then, the wiki is a really good place to like learn the history of the genre and whatnot. It's all documented. So I think as mapping sort of decentralizes from the wiki and becomes more spread out, unfortunately, some of the history can be lost in that, which is sad.
Right. So if I were to return now and be like, "I'm back," everyone would kind of be like, "Who's this guy?"
I mean, you're still a legend. People still know you.
Yeah, you're the father of
We
that.
just had to
People,
mention it, I didn't know.
Alp also crashed.
Oh, Alp
Just
crashed.
letting you know.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah, I told me on
People
Skype.
broadly know you. Actually, you can say that.
Okay.
Okay, mine. Is it your turn?
Hmm.
All right.
Do you prefer maps to be nostalgic as in your style, green map, or do you prefer maps to be very advanced, textures, text box, colors, etc.?
I mean, probably the advanced ones would be better. I haven't watched a lot of the more kind of recent ones people are doing. Like I say, I've been a bit sort of distant from it, so I guess I'm not entirely aware of the different styles now.
Yeah, it has evolved a
The
lot.
ones I've seen, I have been quite impressed with what people are doing with them now. Sort of technically, it's going well beyond whatever I did.
Well, I think a lot of people build up from something, right? They improve it, they make it better. I think that's how everything evolves. Kind of like history, like catapults to cannons, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I have a mixed stance on this because I love the elevation and the evolution of content and, always trying to make it better. Although, personally, I stick with a green map, just straight up old style. I love that shit to death and back. Maybe someday I'll bring a text box in, but yeah, I love the old Mervue, Batran, Mr. Owner and Poner style of green map. And, I do other things to try to elevate it, but yeah, the green map, that's where it's at.
The mapping has advanced a lot. Like I sent an example of one of our most advanced mapping videos in the Hangout chat. If you want to see, one of the images. Yeah.
Oh wow.
All right, I will.
Well, who made this?
So
Cosmic Dawn.
Dawn.
I guess kind of building off of what we're talking about right now, we got what are some?
Oh, wow, yeah. Sorry, I just saw that image. That is impressive.
It is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's how much mapping evolved.
Building off of kind of what we're talking about right now, I know you're not too involved with the community nowadays, but in terms of what you do know about today's mapping, what are some things you like about it? What are some things that you'd rather see change? Yada yada.
I mean, I don't think I'm in a position to suggest changes, but I like the sense of community that you guys have created. I mean, I didn't even realize you had this podcast until maybe a month or two ago when I was asked to come on it, and then I was kind of, like, oh wow, there's a podcast as well. Wow.
There's
And
numerous.
as well, then realizing that people actually listen to the podcast. Like, well, yeah, so this is an actual community. I'm kind of realizing that more and more.
There's many.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah, that can be interesting. That's got to be weird. It's got to be like owning an ant farm, but a little more existential.
There's many like us. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Alp texted me. Okay, here we go. So getting a little controversial. What is your view on the monetization of mapping video? It's kind of become a little bit of an industry in a way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that.
People. But
some
people are making money, man.
There are also like
Yeah,
a lot
people
of,
are making money off of the mapping videos now.
yeah, there's also like a lot of Patreon accounts for mappers.
And they actually get
really?
money.
Yeah, they're making they have jobs on that now. So
Well, it's not really a job.
Yeah,
it's like a
I
hobby.
wouldn't go that far.
Where the money
Okay,
they
like a
earn
hobby
is like
then.
nowhere near to sustain like a living.
Okay,
Yeah.
hobby.
Well, that's pretty wild. I wasn't aware of that. I mean, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it's a form of, creative content, and in general, I'm all for artists or content creators or whatever we call them in this century. Being paid for their work. So and if people are wanting to pay them, or people want to watch the adverts, I suppose in principle, I don't have any objections. I guess as long as there's nothing copyrighted in it, or there's no issues like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. Some people make a lot of money off it. Copyright is a big issue still. Like I remember,
I think that's
one of my
only
first videos had a
Most
copyrighted song in
rappers
it. You
use
couldn't
copyrighted
monetize it.
music, so
That is true. Sometimes the censors don't pick it up, and that's when it gets sketchy. But we
Yeah.
ignore that.
Most of
Ignore
the
that
time they
facet.
do.
okay. Yeah, I think to touch on that as well. Do you think mapping has become a positive thing for YouTube or a negative thing?
Again, I'm probably not in a position to answer that.
Well, it's what you think, so it's not. It doesn't mean we have to. That your answer is correct. I'm just asking. Just asking what you think. Right?
I mean, I guess it's a positive thing. I don't see how it could be a negative. I mean, unless people are, I don't know. Like,
I mean,
it's just-
obviously every community is gonna have drama, so.
Yeah.
oh, there's a lot of drama.
Yeah, I'm
that's
guessing,
kind of-
I'm guessing when we wrote this question, we were kind of referring to the drama. It doesn't happen as much anymore, but for a while there was especially in like 2016, early 2017, mapping had a pretty bad reputation for just being a hole of drama and sorrow. But
Yep.
All right.
I just think that like every community has their own drama.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
Yeah, I mean,
2016
that's
particularly
just.
well, 2016 in general was like a year where all over YouTube there was more drama than usual.
Yeah,
But we moved past that. That's what counts. Well, most of us, anyways.
Yeah, no, I think 'cause that's when the Slow Wiki lost its influence. So, I guess. Like that, I mean, drama is
That's
a
what
reason.
happens.
It's possibly the reason why these other communities exist, like Google Plus, maybe Discord. I'm not so sure about that, but Google
Yeah,
Plus-
Discord as
There
well.
hasn't been much drama on Discord unless you count those people.
Well, there is drama on Discord, but it usually stays on like those servers and doesn't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
spill
It's
over.
usually isolated.
Yeah,
yeah, it's just meaningless. Like one of the main issues we have is in various Google Plus groups. So there's like a mapping community Google Plus group, yada yada. There are always people trying to quote take it over and like enact their little world leader fantasies. And that's just constantly been an issue. People are like, I'm declaring a coup against the chat mods.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. Yeah.
It's very ironic, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
stuff
because
like
not everyone's like I'm gonna say obviously not everyone's gonna be mature, right? Everyone's not. People are gonna be.
Yeah. The community is pretty young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
There
the
are some
community
old
matured
people
mostly.
like me, but
Well,
I
the
guess-
community went on past that. That's what matters, you know.
You know, every community's got its gray gooses. So, who hasn't? I think, actually, I think we've all asked a question.
Oh,
I guess Alp, he doesn't want to,
he
apparently.
doesn't want to. Okay.
Someone's in his background or
So,
something. All right. Yeah,
how
you
about
go.
mine? Oh,
Mindria, yeah, you go.
Yeah, mine.
Any advice would you give us?
Avoid drama because they're just YouTube videos.
I mean, I could ask one question.
Yeah, shoot us one up.
Okay. And do you see yourself doing the mapping videos again?
Yes, at some point. Yeah.
Ooh.
That's cool.
I have a folder and some research that I started maybe 3 years ago for a short video that would be probably similar to the ideologies of Europe one I did.
Oh, nice.
It hasn't been touched, like I said, for 3 years, but maybe I'll return to it.
Shit, you guys heard it here first.
Yep.
When Mervue returns, when the second coming of Mapping Christ comes,
The second.
you heard of it here.
Second coming?
Yeah,
Don't
second
forget.
coming. Right,
Second
okay.
coming, our God.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
All right, let's
I will return
How about-
one day.
one
How about
day.
Rat?
And-
Maybe
Yeah,
you can
Rat.
ask another question.
I already asked one.
Okay.
And-
I know you already asked one. You ask a second
I-
one.
Nope, I don't think so.
No.
Oh my God. Okay. What do you think about mapping? Like, it's been around for. It's kind of crazy. We just recently hit our 10-year anniversary. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, when you said that earlier, 10 years, I was just gonna like, yeah, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, I was sitting in that history class, kind of interested in like visualizing the First World War. And when you say 10 years, how long? Like it was 10 years since my first video. I assume that's when you're
Yes.
talking from.
Yeah.
How long has the actual community existed?
Around 6, almost 6. Yeah, around 6.
And
Yeah.
around-
I thought it was
but
2010.
as a genre, it's existed for 10 years.
Baron, I
Yeah.
thought you made the wiki in 2010.
Yeah, no, 2012. I made
Really?
it in 2012. Later, yeah.
Then,
Well, I
wait,
wouldn't really
was the
put that
second
as-
mapper
as
in
a date.
2010 then?
No, there's no second mapping in 2010.
No,
The
like
second
Jar
mapper
Jar,
was
like
the second mapper was Jar Jar 99, which he made it in like early 2012.
Oh, and then you came. Oh, so yeah, so
then I came a month after.
2012. Okay, gotcha. So it's basically 4 years since your video that nobody followed, and then 2012, someone stumbled. Batman,
Yeah.
the guy right here, the one with the helmet, he's the one that created the wiki. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But even 6 years, that's a long time.
Like I joined on December 2014 as like to be honest, like I think a lot of us didn't even know who you are when we first joined. I think we just mostly get inspired by a mapper who made video. Like for me, I was inspired by the whole topic itself, like not just like I watched specific mappers, but it's not the mappers that inspired me, it's just the whole genre.
So, can I ask how you all got into mapping then, or how you found mapping?
Sure.
Yeah, I will actually say the first mapping series I ever watched was your history of mapping.
Oh.
It was, it was on the suggested tab for when a Tiger Stars thing. It must have been like mid 2014, around that, you know, that little era.
Excellent
And,
YouTube algorithms there.
Exactly. Best days. And just, I can't remember. I was watching like test tube stuff. I don't know what test tube's called now.
That was before it redirected you to Nazi videos every other.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just hanging out in the sidebar, history of Europe, MervueMeringue, and I was so. It was an interesting experience. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen before, and just
Wow.
personally, I always wanted to make like story-driven content on YouTube, and that's kind of hard to do. And if you don't have the resources, and mapping provided a outlet to write stories and make videos about that without having to, you know, get cameras and people willing to enact your stupid fantasies. So, yeah, that's how I found it.
I found it when I was browsing history videos, I think Emperor Tiger Star, and I saw this video by Jar Jar, and I got very interested in the series. But I think it was somewhere in 2012, and then I just stopped watching it again, and then I appeared again and watching D-Mod or something. and then I stopped watching it. And it was then Mr. Owner and Pona I watched a lot, and then Mickey PL004. Then I started getting into the genre, and I was, this could be a good genre to practice some animation, and here I am today. And yeah, like Cosmic said, it's a good way to do it without getting cameras and stuff.
I think I first watched my first mapping video, which is you, obviously, Mervue. I think it was back in like 2011, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I watched it and I enjoyed it for a while, but then somewhere along the way I lost them. And one day when I was like doing history class, we were like watching all these countries moving about on the map, like in Africa. Yeah, we were learning about African history in my middle school or something like that.
Oh, that's impressive. Most people don't tend to teach African history, so that's cool.
I think African history is picking up, like, because YouTube's evolving. There's like other history channels now, not just like mapping videos, but like I think I watch Extra History, like Extra Credits as well. Like I enjoy their series, and yeah, I think history is growing on YouTube. I'm not sure mapping is growing, but not as fast as history, obviously.
Or Legion. Anyways, yeah, I asked my teacher to like print out a map of Africa, and so I just like decided to like draw random countries on there.
Yeah, I think
my
most
friends
of them did that, really.
Yeah, my friends also did it with me. Like we like do a little funny, silly little role play that where hey, I will. It's like a game of chess. Like hey, I will attack your country, but and you will be my puppet state or something like that.
I literally
It was pretty funny.
I literally made
Map-
France
map-
conquer
map-
the entire of Europe.
And then
Yeah.
something suddenly clicked in my mind. Like I'm getting deja vu. Like I think that there's something that I must watch. And then I figure out that I remember vaguely in my head that it was your videos. So I tried for like months and months to try to find it again. And then I finally found it and I stuck to it.
I think that's what I mentioned earlier. That's why I feel like mapping. If you didn't do it, Mervue, someone else would have done it. Because I think something like that happens a lot in class. Like people pretending to be countries attacking others. That's why I feel like someone would have done it if you didn't do it.
Yeah, I just happened to get there first, I suppose.
Yeah. Let's. I guess I'm gonna ask another question. If there was one thing you can change in the mapping community, what would it be?
Bigger.
Yeah, let's make it bigger.
Yeah, that's a good question. Again, I don't feel like I necessarily have a right to sort of say what I think would be changed, but
It's just a question, so.
yeah. I think for a while I probably wouldn't agree with that. I think I was a little bit concerned that about the inaccuracies that were maybe being reproduced in other people's videos. I think maybe I'd move towards what you call video mapping. I guess the sort of boring, just historical kind. So I think for a while I was a bit concerned that are people just going to be making all these videos that are made up history? But then I thinking about it, I realized but there's a major entertainment value here, and if it can get people interested in history, then that's a good thing in itself.
One of our questions is
I'll put it as alternate anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually one of our other questions is kind of related to this question about what you just said. So it's like you basically made a mapping series called History of Europe, right? So how do you feel about people expanding it to other genres like alternate future or alternate history?
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, I love alternate histories. And I did that myself with the last, was it 3 parts of the series? Yeah, so I think that's gonna. I've seen some of the videos people have done of other parts of the world, and that was definitely something cool. Because in my videos, I kind of had this weird alternative world anyway, where I pretended other parts of the world didn't exist, and then like World War II happens without the Americans coming in, that kind of thing. That was cool. Actually, I sort of one other thing I thought of. I have no idea if this is something that's present in the videos people make, because I haven't watched too many, but based on the comments I was getting, it would have been nice to have had fewer people coming from a very nationalistic angle complaining about the fact that I didn't give their country the moment of glory it should have had in the 13th century. Or
Oh yeah.
That we have problems all the time. There's always going to be
Let's
that
get
one
in-
person.
I do want to. That is, I should have written this down in the doc, but this is honestly like my biggest issue with mapping is 90% of the comments you're gonna get are people either exclaiming like, "Oh, I love how my country did nothing," or "How could you make this happen to my country?" Like they watch it like it's a sports championship.
yeah,
For their country and just completely ignore the narrative, which angers me as someone who like tries to put effort into a story and to just have some guy. Yeah, so I gotta like, what do you think of that? Do you think that's just sort of like an unavoidable consequence?
I don't really mind the milder manifestations of that, like someone just going, "Oh, my country." Like, I think that's fine. But it was when I was getting some actually like sort of genuinely very abusive comments, like people saying, "Oh, you should die because my country wasn't here," or whatever. And I was like, well, that's you know.
The mapping community in general is like littered with fascists and communists, which
Yeah.
I think I feel like half of them are like jokes.
Spectrum. There's a whole spectrum.
Pretty. Like, I think that's just, once again, like an unavoidable consequence of having a genre that's just so deeply ingrained with history and politics. You're going to find a lot of crazies.
Yep.
Yeah, like I think if the genre had ended up becoming a kind of alt-right fantasy sort of thing, that would probably have, that would have horrified me a lot. But that hasn't happened.
I'm honestly kind of surprised it hasn't. It kind of seems like a ripe breeding ground for something like that to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know the wings, so.
Luckily, it does seem, even with those mappers who are a little more nationalistic, I think most creators in the mapping community are mainly focused on the narrative and kind of leave their biases out of it, which is fun. Then again, some don't. Like fucking, what's his name? Jabril. That guy.
Tiger Star's in the chat. Shit.
No, I
Tiger
think
Star's
because
in
mapping
chat.
has evolved, so people start to understand like what this is about. Like I even put, I don't know if it worked. I think it has worked, but then like I put like this video is not realistic or political. It's meant to tell us or something like that. It's protected issues. So it works so far. It hasn't
what?
Tiger Star is in the chat.
I know that.
We know
that. Over and over again.
No, you did not. No, you did not.
So,
I did know. I said, "Oh, Tiger Star is here," but you're like fawning.
Okay. So let's wrap up with one more question.
Hey, don't talk to each other.
All right, let's wrap up with one more question. So, in your opinion, what would mapping's future be like?
Bigger.
Yeah, bigger. I mean, I think experimentation and trying new styles is always a good thing. So, if, I mean, I need to actually look into these the more kind of technically impressive ones, because based on that image that you shared, if people were to start making more of these really amazing kind of beautiful videos, I think that would be very cool.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so yeah, I think the only question we didn't ask is this optional one. I don't know if we should ask this.
It's fine. It's a political question.
Oh yeah, okay. Let me get into it.
Well, I said it didn't make sense because it's Twitter bio literally.
You don't have to.
Well, it'll provide an opportunity to just discuss it. Okay, so to jump a little out of mapping for a minute, we got. So what is your stance? Are you still a member of the Green Party?
Yes.
There you go.
All right.
Oh, was that all? Yeah.
I thought it was going to be much worse.
I mean,
Totally
not too
fine.
much to say about that. So I guess that kind of concludes our interview segment.
Yes.
We've gone through all the questions, unless anyone has anything burning that you forgot to write down.
I think we might get more into Q&A when people.
Oh yeah, we're actually getting into okay.
So yeah,
Let's
so
open it up.
whole document
now
you
the
still have to go
audience
through
can
now.
ask you questions specifically. Hopefully not repeated questions.
But that's later on.
Yeah, there might be some repeated questions. I think that's expected. But like, yeah. So the audience, for those of you who are watching this podcast right now you can ask MervueMeringue some questions and make sure it's appropriate.
Yeah. Yep. We should do it in a future Q&A as well.
Well,
we're doing this free for all
stuff. So okay, so if you got something you want to ask Mervue, go ahead, shoot it in the thing. I saw a couple people asking stuff earlier, so now's the time where we will actually acknowledge it. So Zoe City mapping. So yeah, doing good. This has been great. I'm very. Thank you so much for gracing us today, Mervue.
Oh, you're welcome.
If you
Good show.
It's been fun.
If you want to stick around, you go ahead. We still
Yeah,
have
I
a
can.
whole
Yeah,
podcast.
stick around for
First
that.
question I see is a repeat of what we already asked.
Okay, we got purple mapping. So Mervue, what do you think of country balls in mapping?
Oh yeah, yeah. We removed that question. Why did we remove it again?
I don't know.
Yeah, country balls. I haven't seen so much of that. In fact, like, I'm vaguely aware of what country balls are. Is that the Poland going into space thing?
They're extremely popular.
Yeah.
But if
I can
you
give
want to
you
do
like
that,
an image, so, yeah.
that's fine. That's probably not the style I would go with. But
It's actually taken over a large facet of mapping. Most people do
Yeah, and
country
I'm
balls
one of
now.
them.
Yeah, right
and I
from me and
are-
I think
Arthur.
it makes sense because, like, I mean, like, if they're trying to do a narrative, sometimes they need to have a like a separate entity or a personification of the country that walks around and stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess. Sometimes that makes it easier for people to identify with the countries as characters. Sometimes it's easier to identify with a ball than like a blob. Personally, I like my blobs. So I'm not...
Yeah, you like your blobs so much that you made them literally drive a car. A
That video's
country,
not-
literally,
isn't
of
out
millions
yet.
of people
The video
are driving
isn't
on a
out
car seat.
Come on,
Yeah,
Batran, you are 99 Batran, the creator of the wiki. Shouldn't you, of all people, have a higher informed stance on that?
Yeah.
Come on now. All right, so we got a question from Ayan. Mervue, what do you think of YouTube's transition towards becoming another TV subscription service and phasing out their actual content creators? And how do you think this will affect mapping? Yeah, someone's echoing. I think it's you, Alp.
Yeah, who's that guy? Alp.
yeah, it's not something I have a huge amount of knowledge of. But I think it would be a shame if YouTube moved towards becoming a kind of subscription or kind of like a service you have to pay for, as opposed to being a free online collective where everyone theoretically is can upload stuff equally and share it out there. And if that is driving out kind of independent and I suppose somewhat amateur content creators, then I would suppose that would be a threat to the mapping community. Although I don't know, would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't really like that kind of idea.
Just like I've been doing YouTube for a long as I've been here for 9 years, and I can definitely say it's definitely become. It's not really YouTube anymore. It's just tube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I posted the image of a country balls on the group chat here if you want to look.
Okay.
Oh, cool. We got one from Only Bro. Mervue, should the Electoral College be abolished?
No, don't. No, that's going to go into a debate again.
Yes,
I don't
we're getting into the Electoral College.
yeah, this is
let
going
him
to be
say his
like if you're going to get into
opinion,
this, you're going to go have a debate.
Can I just say yes and then leave it there?
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Okay, then I'll say no. Then I leave it there.
There's a history with me and Batran and the Electoral
Okay.
College. There's a whole thing. What else we got?
Ain't American enough. I'm kidding.
I'd ask. Oh, yeah, guys. I'd ask. We'd ask him about the Edge, but I don't. I mean, it
What
doesn't
about
really-
I think he
the
doesn't know
Scottish
about it.
Scottish independence? Scottish independence. What do you think about the possibility of Scottish independence?
I support it, and I voted yes to independence in the referendum, which I still in my view.
Oh yeah, I remember you voting that. Yeah, or supporting
Okay.
that.
Might get to vote on it again soon. Who knows? Quite wild here.
Let's see.
Okay, we got one from Sapphire Mapping Productions SMP. We got Mervue. Seeing how mapping has grown, would you say that it will continue to grow at the same rate, or eventually level out and just sort of fade away?
Or exponentially grow.
Ooh, I've got, no idea, but if it's continued growing up until now, I don't see, unless there's factors like YouTube kind of changing it in a detrimental way, I don't see why it would necessarily level out if it's been growing up until now.
Yeah, I think it'll continue growing. I think there might be a ceiling at some point. I don't know if we'll ever get to.
Glass ceiling.
Yeah, there's definitely a glass ceiling that mapping will hit someday, but I think it'll be. We're a long way from that.
Yeah,
We
not
got
in a while.
So why did you? We got Mervue from Frickin'. Why did you want to leave your mapping videos behind when you left? Don't really know what that means. But.
I think it was-
why you quit.
Yeah, I think it was. Well, I guess the reason I quit was just because I got busier with school and then university, so I kind of didn't have the time. In terms of that style, I think it was like I said before, I kind of began growing more interested in the video mapping style, the more kind of educational one, which I tested with ideologies of Europe. And if I return, that's probably what I would probably what I would do. That I think I'd probably do it a different way than I'm seeing most people doing it. I think I'd maybe try and look at some different angles. One idea I did have, which I think Emperor Tiger Star has taken on, although there's seems like there's plenty of space to do more, is to cover election results with mapping videos. I don't know how many people have done historical election results. So, you could like take a country and you could show all its elections in the last century or something. I think
we're not really.
That's really interesting. I haven't seen a lot of those.
Yeah, I saw one video which like showed the history of the U.S. elections.
Yeah.
Yeah, there might be some for like larger countries, but I don't think as you go down.
I mean, there was a mapper who decided to do history of the United States when Trump got elected.
Oh God.
Romania mapping.
So we got a question from Alan Kohler Games, Vlogs, and more. Mervue, what did you think of actually building a community and indirectly or directly influencing every mapper ever?
I mean, yeah, it still astounds me that I had this role, and it's especially when it's something I don't always remember, since it's not been part of my life for a large time, and then sometimes I'll notice it again, or someone will message me, and I'm just kind of like, oh wow, yeah, this is all still here. This is still growing. It hasn't fizzled out yet. That's quite incredible. And the few people I've told about it, it's sort of been hard to explain. Where I've said, friends, yeah, this is community of mapping people online, and they seem to look at me as their creator. I'm not really sure, but
yeah, I think I would, if I was in your position, I'd probably be embarrassed as well.
Yeah,
well, I wouldn't call it embarrassment, but
yeah, not that. Like, it's hard enough to explain to your family and friends just what mapping is and that you do it, but to explain that you created it, that's got to be a whole other.
And like accidentally created it, I suppose, in my case.
Yeah.
I mean, mapping is also like a term that's used before you even made your first video. Like, mapping could be making a 1300 map of Europe, which is
cartography,
papyrus, not paper, papyrus, right? So, like,
The
that's how I
papyrus.
see like mapping. It probably, like, mapping itself probably existed before, but in your type of mapping,
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't claim to have invented cartography, but
yeah,
you might as well should be.
Yeah, that's the word.
You might as well. You are the inventor. Should be.
All right, we got a question from West Roman Mapping. What do you think about animation and mapping, and would you try it if you return?
I'm not sure what that means. Like,
I think it means like not stop motion, like using keyframes and things.
Yeah, like
Like, not
Viber
slide
me
by
and
Like,
some others to, like,
I mean, like, you know how you.
Okay.
You know how to. Sorry, something came up. Anyways,
It's
not something came. Yeah, okay, sorry.
Don't talk to each other.
A cartoon show is not slide by slide, right? Most of the time.
Yeah, like what kind of changes would you do in like the process of making it? I think is that what it is.
I think we just have to explain to him what animated mapping is first.
Should I post a
The
video
traditional
example?
the traditional style. Yeah, totally. But like the traditional style of mapping, it's slide by slide, sort of separate images that cross dissolve into each other. One of the more modern methods that people take it to, I don't directly know what programs people do it, but they animate the borders using like animation software, so it just kind of smoothly move, like Flash and whatnot.
oh, I see. Yeah, I haven't seen these, but I can get what you're saying. I mean that sounds like an amazing development if people can do that. I don't know if there's a link to that someone could post. So it'd be very interesting
I post
to know how it
a
looks.
video, but
Yeah.
you're muted before.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just have a very quick look at this on the side.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an example of it. Okay,
Oh,
so
wow. Yeah, this is one of the country ball ones you've sent me.
Yeah, well, it's my own video, so it's the best
Okay.
example. I think.
Most of mapping animators are country ball animators because there's
What
no
is
real
everyone
other way.
doing?
Well, like I have the map animation too, right? Like the slides. So,
Italy is freaking out in this video.
yeah.
all right, so we got some more. We got question from the international historian. It says, you said you have done research and are preparing for a, quote, comeback. What would your new video series be about?
Right, so the one that I've got sitting in a folder that's 3 years old, it kind of stemmed out of a research project I did when I was in my last year of school, which was on apartheid South Africa. And what I did for that was I included some maps of southern Africa sort of in the second half of the 20th century, showing how the white minority regimes receded throughout the years. So the idea I had for the map video was to do a map that would be the whole of Africa, probably in the 20th century, and just show how it went from being dominated by European powers to then, just tracking independence of African countries, which I know has been done on a sort of nation-state level, but in this I would be probably just colouring it 2 colours, kind of white minority or colonial, and then independent. And then just sort of show how that dynamic changed. And then you can watch how in southern Africa you have the kind of barrier that apartheid South Africa saw defending itself, and like the Portuguese colonies and Rhodesia and such, and how that all just kind of fell away throughout the period. I think that would be interesting to see animated. Nobody steal that idea.
I think like video mapping wise, I think it's more about the education value than the entertainment animated value, whereas like the video I sent you, that's more like for entertainment rather than educational. Like there's gotta be a balance between the education and anime. Like you can be really animated, but if it's not educational, it loses its value. I think that's something we have to consider. Just animated mapping, right? So
yeah.
But if you do it right, it will be successful. If you don't do it right, it's like, I think Cosmic criticized one of the World Cup Mappers World Cup. Yeah, apparently there's an event called Mappers World Cup. Video saying if you removed all the shiny graphics and the animations, it's plain. Something like that. You probably don't understand what I said.
Yeah. Okay, so we got another one over here that I think I lost. Okay, we got from Frickin'. This one's a little weird. It says, do you think that people should endorse mapping, say news articles and such? This is because we were attacked recently by BuzzFeed.
I think that was
really?
a troll.
That was a troll.
Yeah, that didn't actually happen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a troll account.
I hope this is better since I tried to fix the echo.
Yeah, you sound better.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
I mean,
I don't fucking remember. Hang on.
By the question, who does it mean? Who would be doing the endorsing?
I guess so. I mean,
Fox News. I'm kidding.
Oh,
Yeah, see, like media has been controversial. Like even Wall Street Journal, I lost trust in them. Like it's the PewDiePie situation. If you don't know about that, but I guess you can say they used fake evidence. Well, not fake. They used ignorance to try to push their agenda. Like there's a PewDiePie right now is losing subscribers when it was a YouTube glitch. It's like
okay, we got cheese waffles. Yeah. We got how do you think people would react if mapping somehow got mainstream?
I mean, I guess everyone would be excited. Although I suppose if the process of something that's fairly niche becoming mainstream does come with its own insecurities as well. Like people might, it's like people kind of it'd be the classic hipster thing of people think, well, I was there before it was cool, or
yeah.
I get jealous. People gotta be jealous.
We already kind of have that going on right now. It's like people
I'm
around
rather
2014.
concerned about that because media can take something out of context and then turn it into a manipulated case.
Yep.
I wonder how the outside people would see us. They probably think that we're
Especially the thing I would be worried about is because we're on the political spectrum, there's so many radicals in the mapping.
Yeah, nationalists.
Yeah,
nationalists,
even the non-radicals,
anarchists, whatever.
Like a radical.
All right, we should probably move on because we're hitting an hour. But I do want to answer. I do think we should answer imperialists because he's been asking this a million times. What style of mapping that you've seen is your preferred one? What are your favorite mappers if you've watched any recently?
I shouldn't admit this, but I probably haven't watched enough to really pick anyone out. I've been very impressed by these ones you've been sending me now. Like I genuinely had no idea that people were doing so advanced, technical things with the genre.
There's
So
even a more advanced than the one I sent you. So
yeah, I definitely need to watch some of these. I don't know if I would.
To go and he's not here. So
Right, yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily prefer them. I guess I would need to see. I mean, maybe there's this level of, of kind of animating it or throwing things into it that perhaps something could get lost by doing that. But
there's this 3D, like a real 3D mapping, like by Borderline. I
Yeah.
posted a link in the group chat.
oh, that's probably going to blow me away as well. Let's see.
Take a look at that.
People might make movies someday.
But basically,
Oh.
what he did is like projected a map onto a sphere. That
It
looks
might be
like
cool, but then in terms of
In terms of it actually being good.
yeah,
practicality, I
graphics
think,
look
is the
good,
word.
But in terms of like for the viewers, it's probably not as impressive to watch. Not like I mean like because they're used to like just seeing the map. When they hear it's like, oh, you can't see the other side. Like I've been criticized for this. I don't remember the words I used. Oh yeah, it's not practical. That's what I mean. It's not a practical thing. That's what
I think
mean.
the other thing I'm noticing in some videos is that they seem to jump around where the perspective is quite a lot, which, if you're telling a narrative, might make it a little bit different to sort of track what's happening with the countries, or throughout the period. Like if you're jumping around a lot, if you're focusing in one area and then suddenly focusing in another.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
So, should we move on?
Whereas, like one last question, I think, which would be interesting.
Okay.
It again comes from Imperialis. Do you think it's alright to sacrifice realism for the sake of plot and story?
I mean, I'd be a hypocrite if I said no. I might say no now that I'm becoming a historian. I don't know.
I think the reason why I put like this video is not realistic, right? Because I think a lot of mapping videos were never meant to be realistic in the first place. It's meant to tell a story. Right? That's my takeaway from that.
I think as long as it's clear that you're doing it for entertainment, that's fine. Like if you're to make what looks like an educational video, but then put in deliberate changes, that wouldn't be okay.
Yeah, that's why I put those warnings, just so. Because even putting the word alternate doesn't actually help, because some people are like, oh, this video is unrealistic.
Yeah, like if you're calling an alternative history, then that's fine, obviously, because that's inherent.
The problem is, even if you put like disclaimers into the video that say this is not meant to be realistic, you're still going to have like people.
Yeah. No, I find I get less when I did that. That's why I still do it, because it helps. But there's always going to be that one person, oh, my country, and then there's people like, oh, my country didn't do anything. Oh, why did you kill my country? Oh, why did my country?
I hate those.
Oh, why did you make my
So
country
annoying.
the bad guy? I think these are common problems that all mappers have, but we adapt to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always a challenge dealing with the sports champion things. What's Ligma? Oh, Ligma balls. Oh, funny. Okay. It's people in chat saying that.
What?
They're just adding me saying, Cosmic Mapping, do you have a Ligma?
All right.
Ligma?
So let's, I guess, let's wrap it up here. So
Well, we're going
let's
to the...
on to our regular topics, actually. So, oh yeah, we have a fan request now. So, what is your opinion on Cuba? The sanctions put against them.
Aren't we supposed to do the show first? I don't know what
show.
Discuss the...
No, we switched it around.
Later.
Why'd we... Okay.
Oh, because it's a special episode, right?
Okay.
So oh yeah, as I was saying, Guantanamo Bay. I don't even know how to say it.
Guantanamo Bay.
Guantanamo
away
Bay.
from communism. So this is the topic that our fan request sent in, which is Cosmic, if you check the Discord, the MapperCast Discord, you'll see.
Yeah, I added it to the doc.
No, but you'll see like the whole story to it. Oh, I posted.
Yeah. He posted like a whole article.
I think Cuba should be a U.S. state.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
No, Batran.
Leave it to Batran, man.
Leave it to Batran. He will drag you to war.
Let's look at Puerto Rico. Do you really think you would treat the Cubans well?
Oh no.
No, you would not.
It would be an absolute disaster. Okay, so my opinion on Cuba. Jeez, I can't speak today.
Cuba.
They make great
What's
coffee.
your opinion on Cuba? They
They
make
make great coffee, and that will be it, wouldn't it?
In terms of the sanctions put against them, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Just hanging on to the ridiculous Cold War ideology that doesn't really make sense in the modern era in the slightest, especially since, you know, communism's supposed to be this big bad thing. We have to sanction them, and they're moving away from communism.
Cosmic, do you actually think many of Cosmic? Do you actually think like some of the countries managed to like get over the whole Cold War mindset? Because no,
I
many
think
of
we
them
need to. I think it's absolutely it's ridiculous. It's a war that ended almost 20 years ago.
I mean, it's necessary, but many still insist to stay on that mindset. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. I just personally think that's ridiculous. I really love the steps Obama took to normalize relations with Cuba, but you know, obviously, I guess that's just all kind of being thrown out the window.
I think that if any country wants to reach out to us or to anyone in the world, anyways, like reach out to the world, I think that would be good. Like we should support them on that, reaching out and stuff like that. But if they don't, then slap some sanctions on them.
If they don't reach out to us,
if they want us to remain hostile and don't want to reach out, then slap some sanctions.
That doesn't seem like a very good reason to
sanction them. If they reach out, then that's fine. It's fine. Okay. But if they don't want to, then just remain hostile, then slap some sanctions.
Okay. Well, do you really think a nation being just slightly hostile is a reason to sanction them? It seems a bit really.
Yeah.
I gotta disagree. I think a nation has to actually do something.
I think under Trump, you might have to be sanctioning quite a lot of countries.
Yeah, sanction Germany, and well, he already sanctioned Canada.
You would have to sanction like the entire EU, China.
More like it's tariffs. Tariffs are different from sanctions.
China.
Yeah, based on say every country that doesn't like the US anymore would be sanctioned. It was like the basic thing that came across from your statement. And since Ian also asked what's our opinion on Guantanamo Bay. Yeah, pretty much the stuff that happens on there, I think because it's far from human rights and whatnot, and I think Guantanamo Bay should be shut down.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks, Obama. I'm kidding.
Oh my!
Goddamn Obama!
Do not, please.
Don't get too political, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, not today.
Our God is here. We should not be so divisive.
Okay. Oh no! This is getting worse.
Then consider us happy that Chris isn't on here.
Yeah.
No,
oh dear
God,
God,
I want him on. Man, I kind of missed him.
He's going to join.
So
I don't know.
I think he's still at the gym.
If he's on here, he'll make things more entertaining. I can.
There's one thing I wanted. It was to see Chris and Mervue argue about something. But
really?
No.
Mervue, you and Chris, you guys would get into it, man.
What about the transition away from communism?
That's cool.
That's cool.
Next topic.
Okay.
That'll be the wild card topic.
Oh god, the wild card. Oh, this is my least favorite part of the show. Okay.
Please don't have like.
All right.
Sure that
please.
Okay, here we go. Time.
Please be appropriate topics.
Buddy. How we doing, folks? Wildcard topic hat. It's here. Let's do this. I tried to remove anything not okay. Let's see what we got.
Dumpster diving.
Okay.
Dumpster diving. Come on, dumpster diving, please.
We got, what would you say is... No, that's dumb.
No. Let's read it.
No, I'm not doing that.
No,
is it appropriate or is it?
Is it inappropriate? Like, is it actually?
We're gonna do this one because this one has been sitting at the bottom of the wildcard topic hat for like a year, just waiting to get picked.
I'm kind of afraid now.
I think Cheese Waffle suggested this. We got, what's your favorite waffle?
Oh my god.
Cheese waffles.
Time for some riveting discussion.
I like blue cheese.
Oh, this should be between Wonder and cheese then.
We don't have many waffles in Germany, and the only thing I would eat is like a waffle with whipped cream and maybe like some strawberry jam or something like that.
I think I've only eaten waffles with maple syrup.
Yeah,
I
don't
like
get the thing about
waffles.
I don't get the thing about like having waffles with like savory stuff.
You know,
No, I
Yeah, I
had
don't get that either.
it's ironic.
yeah.
Because here's the thing, though. Earlier, I was eating waffles with eggs,
Okay.
with eggs and cheese.
But I mean, aren't waffles made out of eggs?
No, I meant I no scrambled eggs. I eat scrambled eggs on top of waffles. I was doing that earlier. So I hear some clinking noise.
What's your favorite waffle, Mervue?
Well, if it doesn't have Nutella and bananas on it, is it really even a waffle?
taking a hardline stance on it.
I'm a waffle fundamentalist.
This this conversation is making me uncomfortable.
Why?
I don't know, because we're talking about waffles.
Cheese waffles is.
Was he the one that suggested this topic?
I think he was.
Where's the
I think the
diving
best.
chapter?
Either Wonder Waffle or
Where's the
cheese
diving?
waffle.
I think we've kind of said all there is to be said on the topic of waffles, so we should move on.
All right.
Yeah, we kind of
Alright,
should.
next is I don't think Mervue can say anything about this one, but
No, I think
this is something we do like on every podcast where we pick a mapper winner and review one of their series. This one we're discussing Whoop-de-Doo's alternate future of United States season 1.
Oh yeah, no, I took a quick look at it.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Anyways,
one word response, maybe.
I have a lot of criticism. I did watch the whole series. I would say the series is pretty generic. It's like classical texture, text box, and story-wise. But then a little criticism I have is when you list the alliance colors. Like some of the alliance colors at the bottom is very hard to read. I can't read some of them actually because the color matches the background, so it's very hard to read. I think you should either add a stroke on it so it's more readable, or change the color to make it more readable. That's part of the criticism. I like the surprise nuking color. You change like the filter colors on it. Like that really made things feel more intensive. But then I felt like the villain, like the end game villain, came like out of nowhere, in my opinion. Like Kentucky just suddenly nuked and became the big villain, and then gets defeated by USA. It's like that's what I mean by pretty generic. So I think that's a little criticism there. And as a text box, I feel like it's a little bit small. It's kind of hard to read everything. Like I feel like the text box should be a little bit more visible, and the text box should. I think it should be bigger. That's what I'm trying to say. Overall, I think it's okay series. Not too bad, but not too impressive. So.
Yeah. I didn't. Once again, I didn't get a chance to watch the whole show, but I did skim over the final episode. I feel like final episodes are usually a good indicator to stress the value, the content, if it's good. So a few things I have to say about it. I did not like the map. It both looked like too cartoony for the textures that were put over it, and the borders did not look very good. I know that's kind of rich of me to say the borders didn't look good, but the borders could have looked a bit better. And I didn't like the purple text on top of the textured background. Kind of made it a little difficult to read. But with all that being said, there was actually some good stuff here. I really loved how the music stopped for the nuke and then it turned to smoke. Kind of reminded me of my own show. That's a really great way of building tension there in the scene. So, there is some competency here. I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised for a channel that marketed itself as a Minecraft mapping channel. It's actually a lot better than you'd think it would be. So
I have one more criticism. The font. I don't like the font.
Yeah, the font could be better.
Army font.
So what'd you
and
think?
the colors as well.
What'd you think, Mervue?
I thought it was interesting because I hadn't seen videos like that which had sort of sub-state level, it's like borders, like the US states playing out. Maybe it would have been nice to have had some context, or maybe there was, but just not in the video I watched, of how the United States broke up in that way in 2017, and you had the federal United States just disappeared and stopped. It wasn't there to stop all the states fighting each other.
Yeah, context for that is important. I made a USA show, and 90% of the comments are people saying, "Oh, how'd it break up?" So you're definitely right.
I watched the video. It says they broke up because of the Civil War or something.
Something like
The
that.
Second American Civil War.
So everybody, Italian Mapper Chris is here.
Oh, he's on
Hey,
the
Chris.
Oh, he's actually here. Look at it.
It's
Hello.
our entertainment. I'm kidding.
Hello, God Mervue.
You
Hello.
missed the interview.
Please bless me.
He blesses you. Maybe I don't know. I can't say for him.
Fair enough. So,
Alright.
what we're
We're
talking about.
currently on the MapperMeringue topic right now, so we'll be getting to the other topics.
Everyone is spamming Billie Jean dance.
Oh,
My God, why would you bring that up? We're not discussing that right
I wasn't the one that brought it up.
Anyone else have
Imagine-
any last words on the series?
I mean, I kind of do, I guess. Yeah, as like Viper you said, I didn't like the alliance, like the alliance. I guess the text box, you know, it was hard to read some of them. The map was generic, as you said, and well, the storyline. I shouldn't even speak about storylines because you know I'm the last person here that should speak about storylines. So I guess others can like speak about storyline.
Despacito.
No.
No.
Anyways, I like at least there was some sort of storyline, I would say. And music wasn't really terrible as well, I guess.
Guys, don't quit it. We're gonna get Viper to blacklist the word Billie Jean.
Oh my god.
Don't think you want that.
Well, I guess
If
like
Mervue
since
did
other-
the Billie Jean.
And-
Okay.
Not
Like-
discussing that.
any
We're
other
talking about it. We're on this topic.
point I would make is like basically made by Viper, so and you are others, so you know.
Alright.
Okay.
So, shall we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
All right, let's move on. So now we're finally getting to some political topics.
Ooh,
Let's start with the controversy with Northern Macedonia name. As you guys, to give you some backstory, basically the president of Greece and Macedonia allegedly agreed to change the name of Macedonia to either Northern Macedonia or something else. I forgot. I think I don't know. So it's something about Northern Macedonia or something, so that they can finally solve that problem with claims to Alexander the Great. You know, because Macedonia, for some reason, built a statue of Alexander the Great and maybe named some Philip Arena, which is you can say it's an insult to Greece. So
The airport also is named after Alexander the Great.
yeah.
Oh, is it?
Can I just say what what my view is on this, and like I will just silence myself.
All right.
I would be surprised if the Greek Prime Minister can survive for a year or two because the agreement just benefits like the Northern Macedonia entirely.
Yeah, because
Like-
the entire purpose of solving this dispute for Macedonia is just so that they can get into NATO and the EU. With NATO, they've
No,
always
like-
done that.
I like the
It actually,
They already got an invitation for NATO.
from what I read and from what I heard from many Greeks, it actually gives like Northern Macedonia the right to use like Thessaloniki and the ports, which is actually like a negative thing for Greece. So you know.
But I just imagine the Greek prime minister and his advisors going like, okay, we need to solve this economic crisis. Like, nah, fuck that. We need to solve the problem with Macedonia.
From an outside perspective, it would
The
be
people
very
are
funny
very
if
supportive of this name, though. Like maybe the presidents agree, but doesn't mean the people agree. That's why it's getting a lot of controversy, and
Well,
that's why I didn't change the name for my series to Northern Macedonia because the referendum hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, well, I talked to like a Macedonian guy. I know him quite well, and he basically said they're going to have a referendum. Then I told him, but won't be the people against it. And then he said the government's going to rig the referendum anyways.
Of course.
But it would just be so funny if after surviving all the battles with the EU and the bailout and everything, if Prime Minister Tsipras was to be removed from power because of this, which to I think everyone outside of Greece and Macedonia or whatever the country's called just seems like a really kind of silly dispute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it actually is really stupid, but just try to make sense to nationalists and you will want to fucking end your life.
Viper, can you check? Viper, can you look at the Hangout check?
Yeah, I see it. No, I'm not doing it yet.
Okay. Yeah, it's a silly dispute. It's goofy, but at the same time, I really wish Macedonia would just fess up and rename themselves Northern Macedonia, because it's ridiculous. First of all, they're Northern Macedonia. That's what they are. Let's be honest about this. Alexander the Great was from Greece, and he created the Macedonian Empire. I think that's like,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Cosmic, you just made like 1 million enemies saying that.
Well, I'll take them all on. Because it's ridiculous. They're Northern Macedonia. I'm tired of having to call them the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. No, Northern Macedonia.
I'm not too sure all about that, but I think the original reason why Macedonia is called Macedonia is because when Tito formed Yugoslavia and with the federal structure, he wanted to give the region that's now Northern Macedonia, he wanted to give them their own national identity, so Bulgaria would like renounce claims on it.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, tensions were already high between Yugoslavia and Greece because of the whole thing. I mean, that region at least. But when
after
the region
Macedonia got independence, they decided, let's put the flag of Alexander the Great on our flag.
Yeah, and it's like just a way to trigger the Greece at that point.
People are memeing Greece will become Southern Macedonia.
No, it's like you get a stick and like you start poking a bear that's sleeping, literally.
It's gonna trigger World War III.
I wouldn't be surprised if World War III breaks out from some stupid dumb stuff from the Balkans.
World War I also happened because of some dumb shit that
happened.
Yeah, and Bismarck foresaw it as well, as didn't he?
It's always the Balkans. It's always
right.
Yeah.
People think the United States will start World War III.
Well, yeah,
it has to come out of
no, they probably will. US is a close second.
It'll be.
No, I remember I saw a poll. It's like, who do you think is going to start World War III? And the United States was like 35%, Germany at 11%.
Wait, what?
Germany, really?
Germany?
Yeah, Germany, guys.
Germany, okay.
Our military is the best in the world. Like 80% of our stuff work properly.
I think
because European Union and stuff like that. That's probably.
Matt, do you have something you want to tell us?
Yeah. Wait, what did you say, Cosmic?
I'm sorry, I'm sketching. I wasn't paying attention. What are we talking
about? What are you sketching?
Well, maybe Germany might
like a creature.
Oh.
Okay.
Is it Chris?
Yeah, I think we should probably move on. I think.
Did someone say my name?
Unless anyone else says something.
Cosmic was saying that he's drawing a creature, and I just asked, "Is it Chris?"
Oh.
Okay. Why are you drawing?
Okay, let's move on. Next topic. Discuss Israel declaring itself a nation state for Jews only.
This won't be controversial at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like political scientist says that this might be the beginning of the end of democracy in Israel.
I mean,
state.
Oh boy.
Reverse Nazism.
Ethno state.
It's reverse Nazism. I'm kidding.
So it does, like, from studying South Africa recently as part of my degree, I am just seeing so many similarities with what Israel's doing today with apartheid South Africa, 30 years ago.
Yeah, it was also like one that was involved with like Nelson Mandela and the anti-apartheid movement. It was like some clergyman. Desmond was, I think, his family name. He also like compared the current state of Israel and Palestine as an apartheid regime there.
Yeah, well, Israel and apartheid South Africa actually cooperated quite a lot. I think Israel helped South Africa get its nuclear weapons when it had them at that time.
Yeah, well, it makes sense because they both have like problems with a different ethnic group, or at least had.
Cosmic, I despise you. I'm just saying this. Cosmic.
What?
Cosmic. I despise you. Whoever it is.
Wait, okay.
I have no idea what that was.
That was.
So I wanna hear Cosmic's opinion about this. Cosmic, what do you think about this?
Are we talking? Okay, Israel.
Yeah, Cosmic.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like, what do you think? Do you think I'm gonna take an anti-Arab stand? No. So, like, Arabs are 20% of the Israeli population. It's an out and out, just sort of racist move. It's ridiculous. I don't get it. It's just another step in Israel's horrible, like, crusade against the Palestinians. That is never ending and will continue. I'm not anti-Israel. I'm an anti-invasion and occupation of disaffected people's land.
But the Jews deserve their homeland.
Yeah,
Jews
and
have been madly treated by the evil Nazis and other stuff. Need a homeland.
Nazis.
Yeah, but let's take it from that point of view.
I gotta tell you, I don't think the
you would-
20% of Arabs aren't.
Would
I don't
you
think
want Tibetan independence if Tibet would go on to genocide its own population? No.
Yes. I mean, no.
Yeah, see,
I'm kidding, obviously. No.
we are not.
I don't. That sounds.
The point is, we are not against the concept of an Israeli state. We are against the concept of like what the current government of Israel wants Israel to become. Apparently.
Okay, well, it's one. I think this is like obviously, like Israel is not doing this because let's just have an ethno state. They're doing this as a response for all the Palestinians, which are like
And what are the Palestinians doing?
Crossing the border.
Protesting the invasion and destruction of their country.
No, I'm not. Okay.
By the way, literal invasion and destruction, not like
Okay, Cosmic. Let me ask you something, Cosmic.
Oh, here we go.
Cosmic.
Yeah.
How many nations in the world right now are like prominently Jewish except for Israel?
None.
Tell me how many nations are prominently Muslim in this world right now.
Many. I don't know
Many.
what point you're trying to make with this.
Well, the point is there are plenty of nations where they can like withhold these Muslims, like in Saudi Arabia. Well, there's no nations out there which can like have a true Israeli or like Jewish state.
Okay, so you're saying
That's like asking French people to move to Germany just because they're Christian.
I think. I'm sorry. Go
Different.
ahead.
I mean, it's like asking, like saying, the people in France, you should all move to Germany because that's another Christian country, but there's still differences, and the Palestinian people
Exactly.
The Jewish,
seen as their home.
well, Israel probably. I don't know what
I think-
Israel. I don't know what they exactly want. I'm just guessing that they're doing this as a response for like the latest events. If this wouldn't have happened, they probably wouldn't need to do this.
The problem is,
I think it's something that Netanyahu's government's been planning for a while.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was one of the issues that led to the collapse of his last coalition in 2015.
So
yeah, I
they
heard
were-
something about that as well.
So they were planning it.
I think.
I still find
I think that Israel is concerned that it might lose its identity as a Jewish state someday if like too many people move to there that's not Jewish.
That's
Yeah,
an
they're
absolutely
scared.
ridiculous.
No, they are scared.
Scared
I
of
mean,
what?
Scared of
Because
what?
They might not be a Jewish state anymore.
Yeah, they're
because
not
two people-
That's not a good. That's racism. That's just racism.
the
No,
problem is,
I'm just
the people
I think
Chris, the
I think
people that tend to move to Israel are like highly educated people because Israel, most of Israel's industry consists out of like idea making like concepts and making
well, I mean,
startups
I-
and such.
well, I
And
don't.
therefore,
I'm not.
immigration is really important.
I'm not saying that like the people that are coming to Israel are fucking stupid or something. I'm just saying just like this. I don't know. An example: the Portuguese have their own state. The Jewish should have their own state. Just what I'm saying.
Okay.
But okay.
But the Portuguese state doesn't say we are going to discriminate everyone else in our state that is not.
Yeah, but
Portuguese.
there's not like a bunch of there's not like hundreds of thousands of I don't know Spanish people in Portugal rebelling right now.
And that's not happening in Israel.
It's
That's
but, I
not.
mean, there's
No,
been
it
a
wouldn't be
conflict-
able to Palestine if they had their basic
there's
rights.
been a conflict for
Yeah.
so long.
There's been a conflict mainly perpetuated by Israel in recent years. The further you go back, yes, it kind of lays at the hands of the Palestinians and Arabs, but at least as it stands right now, the conflict is perpetuated by Israel.
Okay,
Constantly
Didn't
denying
Israel try
a
to sue
two-
for peace at least 5 times?
Not anymore. Netanyahu is about as anti of a two-state deal guy you can find. He's not for that at all. He wants to take. This is just his own policies, and this is from him. This is what he said. I'm not interpreting what he's doing. He's continuously expanding the settlements in the West Bank and whatnot. He's not shown any sign of wanting a two-state deal or being open to peace. They just own the land. Just own it.
I don't agree.
I think it's more religious than ethnic state, more religious.
I still find it strange.
Anyone can come as long as they're
I still
Jews.
find it strange that we're talking about this today, but then historically the largest Jewish nation was in Caucasia.
Wait, wasn't it like in the northern Caspian? I mean southern, not northern. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I think it's I think it was in Caucasia, like the Khazars, right? Khazar territory.
Yeah, but it was mainly located in the southern Caspian, if I'm right.
Well, the
I
chat's
think it
very
was- I
divided.
think it was like west of Caspian Sea and east
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
Black Sea.
Southwest.
Yeah, somewhere
Wow.
around there.
The chat on the podcast is very divided.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think we got discussion going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Emperor Tiger Star is like most are
Emperor
against
Tiger
Israel,
Star's in it.
but when we are
Japanese
like people say Israel should be abolished completely, which I
Okay,
wouldn't agree
that's
with.
just a whole. That's the same issue on the other side of the coin. It's ridiculous. Just a two-state solution. They need to split the land. That's the only way we're ever going to achieve peace.
I think
Either
in
confederate
an
that
ideal-
or
in an
a one-state
ideal-
solution in which
Wait,
both
Yeah,
sides
let Murphy talk.
have the rights
Okay, one by
protected.
one.
I think move them to somewhere else.
Why?
I sometimes
I'm
think
kidding. I'm kidding.
maybe this is just a very kind of ignorant solution based on not really knowing much about the conditions, but something like what happened in Bosnia and Herzegovina could be a potential model where you have an incredibly decentralized federation
And
in which
from,
both sides have guaranteed.
Yeah, in
And
an
from
ideal world that would work, but I think
wait,
the situation is much too heated there.
and
Because we got like Israel, who has like a quite nationalistic government at the moment, and Palestine, which is everything of Palestine that is like administrated by Palestine itself is like under jurisdiction of the Hamas, and Hamas is pretty much, I think we could count it as a terrorist organization.
If you also
And-
this is like Serbia, Kosovo.
and from
Kosovo?
from what I heard, like I mean, from what I know, the whole like double state, double state thingy, it was like went as a solution to Cyprus in 2002 with the Annan plan. The Turks said yes, and ironically, the Greek Cypriots said no, and that's why the island is still staying this way.
People are like, let's just remove all Jews.
I was about to read that
All
out.
there will be easily solved.
Really, Chris?
What?
I was about to read that comment as well. Let's just remove.
Okay, hold
all
on. I know it's not the Q&A section, but there is an interesting thing here. It's directed towards me, but I want to open it up for everybody. What do you think of an independent free state Jerusalem, since it's like a central city for the three major religions and basically half the world? So it should kind of have the same status as the Vatican.
Yeah, it was like meant to be like in this original UN resolution, which should happen with like Palestine and Israel and Jerusalem should be an independent city-state. Yeah, I would support that because first of all, you would sort out the problem with who owns Jerusalem, and because today even they have squabbles between, because like the Christian church, like the Jewish church and like the Muslim church, or however you want to call them, have like all rights to like the holy sites in Jerusalem.
Whoa, rat. You said Muslim church. Is that?
Yeah, I don't know. I also said
That's a
Jew-
thing.
I also said Jewish church, which is very likely wrong. But
I
Let's not get too hazy.
I think for a Muslim church, I don't think I should call it that. It's a mosque. I don't know what.
yeah, but when
I think a Jewish church is a
A synagogue.
I
It's
know,
not a
but-
temple,
but-
right?
but
No,
like in
not-
what it's not about the definition; it's just about the meaning.
Yeah, I think we're just referring to the institution in
Yeah,
general.
Yeah.
Okay. So, should we move on?
I guess we should.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, next topic. I think this one should be related to Mervue. Is about Brexit. From 2 years ago.
Yeah, I need to leave in a moment, but I can jump on this quickly.
Okay. Yeah, let's start review then.
All right. So yeah, just Brexit like 2 years later. It's aftermath. How do you think it's shown up?
Anyway,
It's a complete mess. I mean, I thought it was a bad idea at the time, and I didn't vote for it. But even being a bad idea, I didn't think things would be messing up quite this badly. The British government seems to have no idea what it wants, and it's so divided, and it keeps flipping its position based on what it can pass in the House of Commons, which seems to now be a completely contradictory set of policies and ambitions, which the European Union probably won't agree to anyway. And now they're kind of talking about stockpiling food because we might end up leaving without a deal.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think Article 13 is going to affect the UK?
Which one's Article 13?
Article 13, the internet censorship one, and Article 11.
Well, that didn't
EU.
pass.
Yeah.
It's an EU law, but
Yeah, but it didn't pass.
Yeah, but they're going to do it again in September, and let's say it passes. Do you think it's going to affect the UK?
Well, if it passes in September, then it would still affect us because we'd still be in the European Union.
Oh,
But I suppose theoretically we could decide to opt out of it afterwards.
Time to move to Norway.
The problem is, I think
Any day of the
the problem is because Norway is in like the European single market. I think it also applies to them.
Well, fuck, go to Russia. Go to Russia.
Yeah, and you have different kinds of censorship in the internet.
Yeah,
Like
but
not being
You
allowed
should
to
learn how to
post
speak
Putin
a
memes.
local language. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
I
better,
think you should come to Canada.
better than Article 13.
Go to America. That's
No, I'm not coming to Canada. No, thank you. I actually prefer.
America.
Stay away from America.
It's kind of 50-50 on Canada and the US.
Go to Mexico.
Depends on fuck it, fuck Canada and the US. I'm going to Mexico.
Wow.
If they speak a Latin language, you probably can understand them.
Yeah,
whereas in
yeah,
Italian-
yeah. The language.
Okay, well,
thing.
getting back on topic to Brexit.
Brazil.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Brazil.
Well,
We're talking because you know how Article 13 is like a law that affects all EU countries, right? And in Brexit, people when Article 13 was brought in, people were like, yeah, good thing we voted for Brexit, right? That's why I mentioned it.
I think Mervue pretty much summed it up pretty well. I don't think there's much more to say.
Yeah, he did. I just find it ridiculous. Some of the, justifications these people use. There were these articles that came out. We were like, okay, the UK might run out of cheese if we do this. We can't do it.
There was a mention by Spain about Gibraltar, apparently. Apparently, Spain took that opportunity to bring up Gibraltar to the UK.
Yeah, one thing that really confused me was when Theresa May announced, "Oh, we're going to make a soft Brexit. We're going to stay in a single market." I was really confused why she said that because, like, at the start of the Brexit negotiations, I think it was Spain who said, "We are going to veto that Britain will stay in the single market if they do so."
She's bipolar.
So, yeah, I think the plan Theresa May is suggesting won't even be accepted by the EU. Especially because like the EU Brexit negotiator from France is like a hardliner on that stand.
And the key problem in all this is the border in Northern Ireland, which during the referendum in 2016 nobody even talked about, except the few who were highlighting maybe this might be a bit of a problem if we're leaving and we've got a land border that's the site of a historic conflict. But that was ignored in their referendum, and it was taking them about 2 years to even have a position on that.
Yeah, and the current position is just like having a loophole, but that would mean that this loophole would make the entire UK part of the single market while not having follow certain regulations or some stuff like that, I think.
Yeah. And then there was that hilarious plot twist last year when we had the snap election, and then Theresa May became reliant on the DUP, which are a hard unionist party in Northern Ireland.
That made me happy.
And then they would absolutely not they'd be totally against a border across the Irish Sea between the island of Britain and the island of Ireland. So that removes that option.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit off topic, but there's like something about Northern Ireland would never rejoin Ireland because of Protestant and Catholicism.
That is interesting. Yeah, Mervue, do you think that would ever happen? Do you think a unification of Ireland is ever a thing that would take place?
Yeah, maybe. I think it's very possible. And I think Brexit's made it a lot more likely to happen. And you've seen this in polling. I think people are saying
a lot of
in the event of a really horrific Brexit, they'd be a lot more likely to want to unify.
I think Scotland wants to still be in EU and something. I don't know about Northern Ireland, but yeah.
Yeah, because both Scotland and Northern Ireland voted to remain in the referendum, and England and Wales voted to leave. But because we're small, we're kind of being dragged out anyway. And with Scotland, there's just a sort of self-determination democracy angle there. But with Northern Ireland, the open border between the north and the south is kind of literally what underpins the peace agreement that was made in the late 90s. And now that they're being dragged out out of the European Union against their will, that's threatening, possibly, I hope not, but possibly the return to the conflict.
People are saying it would never happen because of Catholicism and Protestant. I don't know the history of that, but
that's the reason why the conflict even happened.
It kind of creates an interesting discussion. Like, as of Spain bringing up took the opportunity to bring up Gibraltar as well, right? So it's like Brexit is a pretty controversial thing, if you ask me.
Yeah, Gibraltar is another sticking point that nobody thinks about.
Here's another interesting question.
It was like in the early negotiations of Brexit where the media at least pumped it out like that Spain is soon going to war with Britain over Gibraltar because they were like There were like
Oh, that was insane.
units there.
Gibraltar Italian.
Gibraltar's obviously American. Get your facts straight.
The whole
Obviously.
world. The whole world.
I'm
is
pretty sure Europe is very Canadian. No, that's not true.
Wait, what?
No.
No, it's not.
I triggered every European. Oh no.
If anything, Canada is more European.
But Canada is very British as fuck.
Yeah.
No.
You're British. We say sorry a lot. And French, because Quebec and shit.
Oh yeah.
And Native American.
Should go to surrendering in France.
And also Chinese, because Vancouver has like 40% Chinese population, I think.
I think legal.
Well, Ontario's a lot too.
Should we move on?
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
Q&A.
I need to leave now, I'm afraid.
Well, thanks for joining.
Well, thank you so much for joining, Mervue. It's been great, really.
That was a pleasure. Yeah, I had fun.
Thank you for giving us this chance.
Would you be able to join in the future, or is this?
Yeah, I could do. I could pop in every now and then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Great.
sounds cool. I see
Awesome. Well, we'll catch you later, man. Thanks for coming on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Have a nice life.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, see you later. Bye.
Good
That's why
luck
we
with
did
your
See you,
the
man.
Q&A for Mervue first, so that in case he leaves.
Yeah, thank God we did that.
Wait,
Oh, yeah,
does it,
there he was. There he was, everyone. MervueMeringue.
Oh, I should have read emoji
wait.
feature in the description. What?
Does
Why
this
is red emoji featured in the description?
Does this mean-
What?
Does
I
this mean-
featured red emoji mapping.
I told you that.
Emoji mapping.
Whoop-de-doo joined the chat earlier, and he was like, "Dude, what the fuck?"
But
Really? You did?
Yeah, he was like, "What's going on? Why am I not here?"
What
But,
the
uh,
oh, shit.
I warned you. I told you to look at it.
It's too occupied. Yeah, I gotta fix that right now.
I think we timed it well. We just got over all the political.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that good? We actually made it
Yeah.
for, like all the topics.
Holy shit.
Does this mean I owe you $20, all of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you
Yes.
There's
That else Mervue wasn't gonna show up.
I need that 20, man.
There's no
Yeah,
proof.
correct.
I need my 20 to pay for my food.
No, you don't need to pay me.
McDonald's.
Chris, they're sending that right now.
I don't want your
poor.
$20. Keep it.
I'm a Euro poor. I have money.
Whoop-de-doo's oh, Viper, Whoop-de-doo's still here. You can ratify your mistakes to him.
I fixed it.
Weak,
It
Chris.
should be fixed now. Well, it takes a while to update, but yeah, it should be fixed. I don't know, like live streams, the description.
Yeah, they're weird, man.
I'll post the.
So,
Oh shoot! I messed up again.
Al, what are you doing?
it's a good question.
Hey guys, let's
No,
keep it
I
chill,
just have to
okay?
bring this up now.
Oh yeah, the description's updated now.
Oh, yeah, that's all pressure.
Alright.
Viper.
No, we can't do. We got to do that after Project MM is done.
God damn it.
We can't discuss
Alright.
anything, but Alp not being a member is critical to Project MM.
Yeah,
Anyways,
Project M.
This person has been
stop
asking me this for like. This person has been asking me this for like an hour and a half. Joey,
Yeah, I
Dr.
can't
Number
answer that.
2.
Name.
Thoughts
I
on
don't know much about
Roblox?
Yes, give us
Getting banned in
Roblox is
Dubai.
fucking dumb, and I don't know why it's still like I remember.
How dare you? How
I
dare you?
remember
get
playing.
Roblox?
Hold on. Yeah,
Hey,
Your
I've
phone's
played
gonna meme
Roblox since for 11 years.
How dare you insult Roblox?
Okay, no.
Okay,
How dare you? I've played Roblox for 11 years.
I'm leaving the podcast.
Shut up!
Again.
Don't talk always.
Yeah.
like legit. I remember signing up for Roblox in like 2010. I was 9 years old, and it was like, and then it was instantly eclipsed by Minecraft, and now all of a sudden it's back, and we're supposed to just accept it. It looks like shit. Why everyone looks like a fucking refrigerator box with shoe boxes for they're box people, and it hates me. Art director.
You can ignore, dude, you can
Guys.
ignore it. Not everyone has that though.
Guys, it's
And
not-
not everyone looks like Legos. Not
Guys,
everyone
It's
looks
just like
like
the whole game looks like complete ass. It's like
But look, no, that's the
Guys,
character.
hey,
You seen that? Look, you know that Roblox visually it looks better than at least 5 years ago, right? You could agree with me.
that's a yeah. I agree with you. That's a low bar, man.
But to be
Okay.
honest,
It does. I mean, lots of games got advanced nowadays. I mean, I
Let's not get
haven't
into-
played Roblox
Let's
with
not
their
get into a
months.
debate
to
of
be
Roblox.
honest, I never played Roblox,
Fortnite is the
but
one that took us
I ne-
all over.
Hey,
I
you
never
want?
played-
I'll
for fuck's
show-
sakes, I want to talk.
Let Rat say something.
I
Let Ryan
never
talk.
played Roblox, but from what I've seen, it just looks like a worse version of Gary Smart.
Fucking exactly.
I thought Gary
by the
Smart
way-
looks like Counter-Strike to me.
Alright. Hold
by
on.
the way.
No, same.
Hold on. I need to
same map.
answer this question. We got Ann. We know you hate Fortnite, but what do you think about Ninja becoming the most popular athlete on social media? Two things. First of all, I don't hate Fortnite as a game. I've played it a few times. It's fun. It's like whatever. I just hate the fact. I hate its cultural relevance. Who gives a fuck? It's like the most mediocre game I've ever played in my entire life. It is a celebration of averageness. It is like, who gives a shit? Anyways, about Ninja, that's fucking dumb, and I want to kill myself. That's
dude, he died of Ligma. What do you do?
I mean, Ninja seems like an okay guy. I mean, I've never seen his videos, but what I've seen from him, he seems okay.
Cosmic.
I mean,
he's been saying that he died. He died, I think, of Ligma. That's what Aint said.
That was a hoax, Patrick.
Oh yeah,
By the way,
that's a hoax.
Twitter 15 minutes
All right,
ago.
how am I supposed to know that?
By the way, I got a question from Only Bro. Oh, I got it from Discord, but that counts, right?
Sure.
It's
Play
like,
Call of Duty and Roblox. That's fun.
It has to do with the Israel thing. He said, "Oh, wait, let me see the question again." Fuck. Only Bro, I can't get to Discord. Can you like post it? The question. He said like, if you support every culture having their own state, like what I said about Israel, do you support Sicily having their own state? First of all, I mean, this is kind of a joke, but to be honest, it's not even a joke. But if Sicily left Italy, I think Italy would actually go up economically because Sicily is just more of a reliance.
Then you would have one problem, though. Half of the government would leave the country. Mafia members.
Yeah, I know.
Screw you guys. I'm gonna go play some
Italy would fall in
Roblox.
line because they can't form a government.
The rats leave. No offense.
Yeah, we're gonna have 20 Italies again.
I'm gonna go play some Roblox and play some Slender Man on Roblox.
Let's reintegrate Italy.
Okay, by the way, I wasn't done.
Holy Roman Empire 2.0.
Calm down, everybody.
No, he's not allowed. He's not allowed.
Ok, perché tutti gridano che non posso parlare.
Let's abolish Italy.
I was saying.
Yes.
The thing is, I was saying.
Abolish Italy and
Yes, bring Venice back.
Va bene, adesso sono un po' zitto.
Finito forever.
All right, folks.
No.
Hold on. I need to say this. Let's try not to talk over each other. Someone's saying like I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Like come on.
We never learn.
All right.
Learn.
Start with Chris.
As I was saying, I wasn't even like I said one thing, and the whole chat, like the whole call explodes. Other thing, saying that comparing Sicily to getting independence from comparing it to Israel and Palestine is stupid because the Jewish and the Muslims have like almost nothing in common. And even if Sicily, the Sicilian culture is different, it's not completely. Yeah, you just said that half of the Italian government would go to Sicily because of all
the mafia is more competent than the Italian government, in my opinion.
But you also say
I'm not talking about the current government. I'm talking about pretty much every government Italy had in history.
But you also
Italy had
you said
in the last 70.
But you said like a million of times the mafia is the one that's like destroying. Okay, you know what? Whatever.
Then I did some research and I think, the mafia isn't that bad.
Italy is the most corrupt country in the EU. What the fuck do you mean by that?
Italy is not the most corrupt. It's like the third corrupt.
No, it's the most corrupt.
No,
I think it means the most corrupt in Western Europe.
Bulgaria and Romania.
No.
I think he means by Western Europe.
No, all of the EU.
Okay.
If you mean all of Europe, it's second behind Ukraine.
Most corrupt.
Oh, okay.
What did you just say about my buddy Ukraine? I'm kidding.
Anyway,
I thought Belarus is more.
Okay, this question, Brad, can you stop like freaking changing the freaking argument?
Like when Mervue left, everything got to hell now.
I still haven't finished the answer because as soon as I say one word, Brad is like, actually.
Okay, there we got the ranking. Bulgaria is the most corrupt in the EU. Then comes Romania. Then comes Greece. Actually,
this is what I mean.
Croatia.
Brad, fucking God.
Brad, what's the question?
Let one person talk.
Brad,
one person talk. Jesus Christ.
What was the question again?
I don't know. We went off topic, so
yeah, because you can get off topic. Let me finish.
Okay, hold on. Are you still going on? I have questions that need to be answered.
Sì. Ma io sai la tiden. Ho sempre stato così.
And as soon as Mer went, this show just went complete fucking
Yeah,
follow.
basically.
That's what, dude. That's what I said, Raph. That's what I said. That's what I
What
said.
would you expect?
I think about all that shit.
And Batron is doing it again.
All right, let me answer this question because Aiden has been asking it for a while. We got Ninja recently raised over 320,000 euros for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital.
Chris, shut the fuck
Mute your mic if you're gonna like argue with your. Okay, let me rephrase what I'm saying. I don't have anything against Ninja as a person at all. I think if anything, he seems like a pretty great guy. I just hate that he has, his fame isn't deserved. It's not. Let's be honest. Really, most popular athlete on Twitter because he plays a shitty, mediocre video game. That's my stance. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's dumb. He's a great guy. I'm glad that he's successful and is redistributing his success to other less fortunate people. That's great. That's a fortunate. Here's what that is. That is a fortunate consequence of a shitty autistic. Shut up. That is a very fortunate consequence of a shitty, stupid situation. That's what I gotta say.
As a Fortnite to it.
Wow, that is like something Mysterious would say. I'm really disappointed. Yeah. Batran's taken Mysterious's mantle of bad jokes.
You're a disappointment, Cosmic.
I'm very disappointed.
You're a disappointment.
I'm heavily disappointed.
You're a disappointment.
Disappointment.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Okay.
We got.
I got an idea. Hey guys, Minecraft Hunger Games. Now that's a good game.
Honestly,
right,
honestly, better than Fortnite. I still hold that stance. Minecraft Hunger Games is better than Fortnite. Because here's the thing: Fortnite, one map, all the environments are essentially the same. How crazy does it get? There's a city, there's like little suburb areas, there's a forest, there's like a little mine. Who gives a shit?
Oh, Belarus is not as corrupted as Ukraine. Wow.
Okay.
It's
I'm
Swatini.
looking at this.
You just got called a communist disgrace, Chris.
I can't.
By Sapphire. So.
Wait, why? What did I even say which was communist this time?
He called you you communist disgrace, Chris.
He said I'm a disgrace, not a communist.
Communist disgrace.
My father.
Communist disgrace.
Well, let me try to find
it means two different things, I think.
He said, well, what I found is my father, Italian Chris, is a disgrace. Now, I don't know if it's communist more up to one. He said communist, but...
I'm going to quote him, good, you communist disgrace, Chris.
Okay. Well, I think he's referring to my Twitter posts.
I think he was referring to you saying that you didn't even were able to finish your answer.
Yeah.
And then he said it was a positive thing that you weren't allowed to finish your answer.
Oh, well I didn't say anything. You know, my head hurts. What?
Oh, and ask us about the Helsinki summit between Trump and Putin.
Just DM me. Yeah.
Hello. Is any
DM.
Cosmic still there?
Fucking DM.
Cosmic, are you dead?
Okay.
I think he committed die.
Only bro.
He committed die.
Okay.
He committed die. Yeah, he committed die.
I want to say two things. Okay, so
Cosmic's out.
Corruption index. I'm looking at this.
Oh, Cosmic left the call.
Oh, okay.
That's his whole there.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah,
okay, so I want to say
crashed.
This corruption perceptions index, and apparently New Zealand is the least corrupted country in the whole world.
I think.
And Uzbekistan got better. North Korea got better. Not so much better.
Oh, there's Cosmic.
Syria got worse.
Hey,
Somalia
can you hear me?
got better.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
My computer.
Worse.
Fuck off.
Venezuela got worse.
We want the weird Cosmic back!
Cosmic got captured by the FBI. That's what happened earlier.
Guys, let me finish my analysis.
Okay, guys, Viper.
And Singapore is still very least corrupt, even despite being surrounded by corrupt countries. And we have Canada at number 8. Russia is very corrupt. Ukraine is more corrupt than Belarus. Belarus is not that corrupt, actually. Somehow, I don't know how. Apparently, it's less corrupted than Bosnia, Albania, Macedonia. Croatia is less corrupt, though. Moldova is pretty corrupt.
Laptop battery.
Yeah, I guess these are some weird statistics I'm looking at.
I don't know, he gets to finish without saying interrupting him. Why do you know interrupts me?
Anyway, we are not fascists.
Mumbling,
so
man.
it's
You're
fine.
mumbling.
We should wrap this up.
Wow, Rad, anti-free speech much.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm pro Constitution.
We gotta wait till my computer
Oh,
boots.
I didn't know the MapperCast had its own constitution. Well, that's great to hear. What do
Well,
Okay,
but Germany has a
and-
constitution. I'm going by the German constitution because I'm a citizen of Germany.
Well, but we're not Germans though. None of here is German except.
Yeah,
me,
I
so
don't care. You will soon be.
All right, shall we take a few more
No.
questions and wrap it up?
Okay, guys, Ain has a question. Ain has a question.
Podcast.
Oh, the Helsinki summit between Trump and
Helsinki,
Putin.
yeah.
Yeah, I tried to talk about it, but then Cosmic went bye-bye.
All right, so what do you guys think about the Helsinki summit? I almost called it Helsinki.
The USA sold itself to Russia. My opinion.
I think that a conference between Russia and the United States would be good, but it could be handled better. I can say that.
But Cosmic is doing the quiz and he's not here.
Chris is walking around.
No, I'm trying to get my mouse straight. I go to Discord and answer only because my mouse is fucking retarded.
All right, so shall we wrap it up?
Yeah, we don't have Cosmic.
Yeah,
He
We need to
do
have
the quiz.
Cosmic's opinion on this.
Where is he?
Cosmic is being captured by the FBI.
As we
I
speak.
thought it'd be the dentist, you know?
He said he's like rebooting up
The
his
FBI
PC or some
is-
shit, I think.
Oh yeah, he's probably rebooting. He should do it on his phone at least, you know.
All
I'm
right,
not
43 seconds of logos.
What?
I'm doing 43 seconds of logos.
I mean, Cosmic, he said something.
Yeah, my phone's being a piece of shit. You know, I'm trying to. My technology is just decaying slowly.
It's because you're overusing it.
I think it's a new PC.
Well, yeah, ain't that the truth? No, this is the old one. My laptop's battery is broken, so the moment the power cord disconnects from my computer, just fucking dead.
So can you get your PC up again or no?
Yeah, it's booting up. It's just
Okay, good.
If you,
We're waiting,
your opinion.
Cosmic.
It's Helsinki.
So let's
No,
all
we
be
can't finish
so let's
until I
all be quiet because Cosmic's talking on a phone.
It's okay. If you just carry on. I can pretend I'm not here.
We were
Wait,
talking
what
about
is
the
your
Helsinki
opinion on
summit.
Helsinki.
What are we talking about? Helsinki?
Yeah.
The Helsinki summit between Trump and Putin.
Oh, okay. Ridiculous. Nothing I didn't expect.
Oh,
Like,
Jesus.
shit.
What?
Wait, what happened?
What is going on?
Can we ever hear something positive?
MapperCast
shoot
is
yourself?
dying.
Bertrand? Hello?
All right,
Is it
I need to get MervueMeringue's mapper ball.
Did Bertrand just shoot himself?
That is his Wiki logo.
How do I get his? Yo, I don't know his mapper ball. What do I do about it?
I think
Just
did
use
you
his
just
YouTube icon.
did we just hear Bertrand die on stream?
It's so I just write M.
I think after
Do I just take M?
I think after hearing Cosmic insult Trump for like the 1 millionth time, I think Batman couldn't take it anymore and he fell with a heart attack.
I heard like he shot his gun or some shit.
Yeah, like he gave up on after hearing Cosmic.
Maybe the FBI came. FBI, open up.
You're Vietnamese. We're taking the what?
Why are there
Oh,
two
two
Cosmics?
Cosmics.
There we go. Hey, folks. Oh,
Why
two-
Why are there two Cosmics?
oh no!
The magic is working again.
I can't disconnect my phone. Oh, no.
Shut
Which
your
one is
mouth.
real?
Let me turn it off. Let me see. Okay.
There I go.
This is not okay. I can't.
This is okay.
Bertrand killed himself.
Oh yeah,
He
and what,
doubles-
just a reminder, MervueMeringue's the first ever
Oh.
mappers channel is in the description if you want to check it out. Check out the
Guys,
latest
I
mappers.
turned my phone off and it's still here. My phone is off. It's still, someone take it. I want it out of here. I want the scary man out of my home.
For Cosmic's phone. He has
I'm more
skill-
worried about Bertrand because he has a set of things that's
Yeah, he shot himself. Yeah,
What
Cosmic.
happened, veteran? Did I
Cosmic he heard
he
you.
heard
and
something loud. I think it was a gun.
Yeah, Cosmic.
Yeah, the FBI came.
Cosmic.
Why
No,
did
I
he
don't think
do
he shot
owning
himself.
or
He
some
wouldn't do
shit?
that. No. Come on, guys. What the
All
hell
right.
happened? Where
Where's the quiz?
MervueMeringue
Where's the quiz?
left chaos just ensued.
There's two cosmics again.
I thought there were always two I can't even see the chat. This is
I-
downhill.
Cosmic, okay?
Oh, we're gonna wrap
Okay,
this up
so
with that.
Cosmic, shoot your phone with veteran's gun.
My phone is off. That's the scary. Oh, it's gone.
I ejected it. That's why.
No.
Thank you.
I missed
Batman,
cosmic mapping.
are you
period.
alive? Batman.
What happened to Bat? Is he like?
Batman.
I think he shot himself.
Batman.
Did Batman commit die?
Batman.
GG, Batman.
Batman.
Come back.
Like legit.
Veteran, no.
Oh wait.
We need you for the project, man.
Insert Titanic.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, is he like
guys,
playing
Press F.
with
Everyone
a gun
press
or
F for
something and it made a
Batman.
noise and now he's
Press
gone?
F for veteran.
Is that like, oh shoot, or some shit, and then no response?
The Batman died. Well, now we have a new meme.
Okay, so wait. Someone get
Guys,
us
come on.
MapperCast.
Why did we fall into chaos when MervueMeringue left? Come on.
I mean, none of that was unintentional.
Where the hell?
Can we just end this?
Yeah, just Cosmic, do the quiz, and we're
Okay,
not. Batman is Batman.
Here,
Okay,
everybody,
this set, remember timeout A.
we have to like calm ourselves down. We're like children, okay?
What else should you be saying?
Let me get the thing. It's probably going to take a second to open because my computer is still in like wake up mode.
Nah,
Man, that's there was a whole bunch of shit. I didn't get to be there for 90% of that Q&A. This video gets 50 dislikes. No.
I'm actually kind of
We just witnessed a suicide.
Okay,
I think the first part,
the first thing we do, we ban Imperial from the chat because we know.
All right, ban Imperial and A.
Okay, goodbye.
What happened?
No, seriously though, stop aim.
No,
Okay,
seriously.
here we don't need to ban him. Let's just say Ain, nothing against you at all. Like that.
Batman seriously fucking blocked him.
Wait, Batman is alive.
Batman's alive.
We were okay.
Veteran, we were joking, Jesus.
Yeah, man. Why did you time him out?
Batman is back.
All right. Let's just all be happy.
Batman, hello.
Batman.
No, Batman.
You thought you fucking shoot yourself.
You're a ghost. Oh fuck.
Okay, well, okay. Let's
Now
do.
Imperial is flipping out in the Skype chat.
We're sorry, Imperial. That wasn't intended.
I
Anyway,
am not
so
sorry.
Ayan, we're not gonna mute you, but we're not gonna be accepting your things. Not because it's just you win every time, and we kind of want to give someone else a chance.
Imperial, just get on with your secondary account.
He's probably, if he answers, he's probably still gonna get it.
Yeah,
And
well, I know what's Imperial's secondary account, so
People just
Okay.
copy Ian's answer now.
you see someone by the name Lucas H when it's him.
Lucas Fish.
H.
Go, guys. Okay, so question 1. I'm going to reaffirm these rules heavily. Ow, I just fucking
Do not
stumbled into
answer
my
if your name is Ian.
That's number. And someone banged my door. Hold on.
So banged his.
Oh my god, can you hurry up?
We
Cosmic.
we believe Bertrand shot himself.
I don't know.
And before Batman died, he banned Imperial. That's his last wish.
He did?
Yeah.
He didn't give him a time.
Oh, thank God, my mic was fucking muted. Okay.
Dude, I don't think Batman is that crazy. I think. he's
Okay,
just
let's
trolling
end
us.
this.
Bertrand did.
I gotta
time
head out.
out.
I have to be a gracious host.
The
All right,
Democrat.
so here we go. Question 1, fan winner. Whoever gets this right, you will have a chance to suggest us a topic that will be guaranteed to be discussed on the next
As
episode
long
of
as it's
MapperCast. Appropriate. You can send it on the comment section of this video when it's uploaded, or on our Twitter or Discord, anywhere where you can reach one of us. So, let's get into it. Which MapperCast member robbed the convenience store?
What? Are you kidding me?
For the love of.
I thought you were doing something else.
No.
Get on the ground.
FBI, open up.
No one. Oh.
Imperial created a secondary account.
Welsh got it. Welsh. Congratulations, Welsh.
Okay, no one was at the
What
convenience,
the fuck?
and it was as big as a bathroom.
You robbed a convenience store, Chris. Just own it.
It was as big as a mapper, and no
That
one's actually
doesn't. The size doesn't count. You robbed a convenience store.
But people think that I came in like a huge like Walmart fucking with like a handgun like pointing at the cashier like give me the money.
You still robbed a convenience store.
What the hell is that?
Move on. Okay, so this is the most important part. I cannot.
Oh, Baron muted, so he's still alive. He muted his mic, so Baron's still alive.
Yay.
Oh,
Okay, so
It's
Mapper
Jesus
winner.
Christ himself.
Let me explain the things. Whoever gets this question, we will review one of your shows.
Muting, unmuting. Baron's muting and unmuting. Baron, stop trolling.
Okay, just ignore him. We will review whoever gets this right. We will review one of your shows on the next episode of MapperCast. Let me reaffirm this. Do not answer this question if you are not a mapper or you do not have a show that we have not already reviewed. So only answer this if you are a mapper with a show. Please. Okay. Let's move on. When did MervueMeringue upload his final mapping video? I don't even think I remember the answer, so I'm gonna need one of you. Oh wait, yeah, I do.
Need
So
the exact date. I have it right here.
We want the exact date.
What do you think? I mean, like if you have a series, like a show, like an alternate future, a show. We need the exact date.
No, don't say 4 years ago. Say the actual date.
You have to give us the exact date.
And we mean like actual mapping video, not like video mapping.
Oh. No, but the question says uploaded his final mapping video. Oh, okay. So I have the wrong one here.
Final mapping video.
Whoop did you got it, but we already reviewed him.
No.
What? Why'd you? No, he didn't. He didn't.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
It's wrong.
These people are giving the video mapping. We need mapping.
I'm not.
God damn
Chris
it!
right.
I swear to God, we're ignoring that. We're gonna wait till someone else gets it.
Chris got
He
it.
just gave it away.
Yeah, I know. I reacted. Okay, here we go. Epic.
I got it.
Epic, you got it.
A9
Hey.
2910. Here we go.
Okay. I look.
Wait,
Go to channel.
it wasn't 9th of September.
Yo, that's the guy who was in the Mappers World Cup.
I think he has a show. Yep. No, wait.
Yeah, as a show, but it's like
Golf
over a
with your
year.
friends. All right, I guess we're gonna be.
one of the
reviewing
moderators
this.
on my Discord.
He has an alternate future of Africa. Alternate future of the USA.
Okay, congratulations to Epic K910. Let me write you down.
Oh, the Imperial.
All right, we're ending this podcast.
Yes, 1 second. Hold on.
First, Batman, can you speak? Stop freaking us out.
He did speak before, I
He
think.
was muting and unmuting.
Nice, just back
Probably
to
has
bed.
people in his background. All right, congratulations to Epic
All right, all right. We'll see you all in the funeral.
Have you seriously blocked? Chris.
No, I did not. Fake.
I think by this time his original account has been unblocked again.
Okay.
Exactly, it's okay.
Guys, I think Batman died.
Batman!
Chris. He's AFK.
No, he was muting and unmuting his mic.
Why are you so concerned?
I don't know what's going on. He's acting weird.
He might miss the brain.
Wait, would you like another?
I think he lost the brains though.
I think he's fighting in a guerrilla warfare right now, and he doesn't know how to speak.
Alright guys, I gotta get going, so we gotta wrap this up.
Yes.
Wait, before we end this, can I end with one quote from AN? I will never watch MapperCast ever again. I will tell everyone to stop watching this.
Wasn't that like the general theme, Sermo?
Yeah, so.
No, until
Alright,
Batman
we're done.
wakes
We're
up.
done.
Yeah, we're done now.
Batman!
We're done.
Wait, what?
What is going? Why are you so concerned with Batman?
Oh, I ship Void and
Viper's scared about Batman. We gotta end the show, Viper. Batman will be fine.
Alright, ending. 5, 4.
Whoa!